Hi everybody. Today I would like to reflect with you on the text of Mark chapter 6 verses 17 to 29, it being the memorial of the Passion of St. John the Baptist. At first, the news that trickled out of Herod Antipas's imposing fortress Macarius was met with disbelief. His disciples refused to believe that Herod Antipas had beheaded a man whom he considered righteous and holy. But then again, Herod was a people pleaser and a spineless ruler. John's body now had to be prepared for burial according to the Jewish customs. But getting his body was not going to be an easy walk in the park, literally. Macarius was a fortified hilltop palace on the eastern side of the Dead Sea. It was special to Herod Antipas, for his father, Herod the Great, had built this palace in 30 BC over the ruins of the earlier Hasmonean fortress. It was designed to be a defense outpost. Its smoke signals of warning could be seen all the way to Jerusalem. It was Herod the Great who extensively renovated this defense center into a lavish palace now inherited by his son Antipas. Herod the Great chose the peristyle courtyard to be his main showpiece. Set within beautiful Ionic columns with capitals draped in volutes, this courtyard, which saw many great banquets, also became the court where treachery and cunningness played out. It was here that Herod Antipas watched his stepdaughter, Princess Salome, dance the deadly dance that cost him the life of a man he feared he had protected. But that day, in 32 AD, saw the blood of an innocent man drip off the platter on which his head was carried. It was a prized but bloody trophy that Herodias had longed to have, and now that blood matched the tiles of the roof and the courtyard. It seemed like the color of blood was everywhere, except on the soul of Herodias, for that had long been blackened by sin. Perhaps if Herod had only anticipated the deviousness that he knew his wife to have, he might not have committed to such a reckless oath. Herod must have surely been intoxicated with power, if not with wine, for he swore on an oath to give even half his kingdom as a prize for a dance that so enchanted him and his guests. It was an awful affair, for Herod's birthday was to be John's death day. And while Galilee and Perea were plunged in mourning for John the Baptist, Herodias was planning a victory party. Her longtime enemy was dead, and she would not have to hear his condemnation of her illicit relationship. Towed the line that many local prophets did. He might have been alive. After all, her husband greatly respected him and never really wanted him dead. But John insisted on speaking truth to power, insisting that Herodias be sent back to her lawful husband Philip, who had made Rome his home. Now all that was too late. The dance ended in death, and Herod would be forever known as Herod the Spineless. Backbones, it seemed, were in short supply in Palestine, for a few years later, Pilate would shed the blood of Jesus to please the religious establishment, knowing fully well that he was innocent. One wonders why rulers don't come designed with a spine. John's disciples had hoped for his release. For 2 years, they had seen him languish in the dungeon. It was from here that they carried a message to his cousin, the one people hailed as the Messiah. It was here that they reported to John the fulfillment of the Messianic prophecy. For the blind could see, the lame could walk, lepers were cleansed, the deaf could hear, and the dead were raised to life. Now it was time to bury this great prophet, and Herod consented to the body being handed over to his disciples. He was more afraid of the consequences he might have to face from the people than from Herodias' wrath, who would rather see John's body burned than be buried. John was no reed that could be shaken by the wind. He preferred to face death at the hands of Herod than have to face his God with a life of compromise. He was no soft-robed prophet that could be bought over by political will, for he had submitted his will to the divine. He was the messenger who faithfully bore the message he was sent to deliver. This poor prophet died rich in the eyes of God. As we contemplate on this beautiful life, think, how could your life also be made beautiful by sacrificing just a wee bit each day and living for Christ? I want to thank you for watching these videos. Do remember to share them with your friends, and if you haven't done this as yet, please subscribe to our channel.